Hello Tigers, I'm Haley White, and thank you for joining Tiger Media Network today to find out what's happening around the campus. Joining me today is Jill Arensdorf, who was named FHSU's new Provost and Vice President of Academic Affairs. Thank you for joining me today, Jill.
Thank you for having me.
You were named to the new position early in May, but your FHSU roots do run pretty deep. Tell us a little bit about your career and how you got started here at Fort Hays.
Sure. So I moved to Hays about 18 years ago, and I was working at another place and learned of the leadership program here at Fort Hays State. I knew at some point in my career that I wanted to teach leadership at a university, and so I had an opportunity to do that here at Fort Hays and started teaching in the Department of Leadership Studies. And then I became the department chair of the department, and then most recently was named the Provost and Vice President for Academic Affairs. So I've spent most of my time as a faculty member and an administrator here, and really love this place.
And as the chair of the Department of Leadership Studies, prior to taking the provost role, you helped guide the department through great successes. What are some of the things the department has been able to do under your guidance?
Well, one of the things that I'm probably most proud of in our department is that our ability to serve students all over the world, and the university is much like that as well. So I'm proud of that for Fort Hays, but specifically in leadership studies, I was a part of that department, and we were able to offer leadership courses to our on-campus students. We were able to offer leadership coursework through our virtual program, and we were offering leadership coursework in our programs in China. And so we were able to really span the globe in terms of our reach and leadership education, which is really special to me.
Yes, that's great. When you began 17 years ago at Fort Hays, did you expect that one day you'd be holding such a prestigious role?
No, not at all. So I was hired as a half-time faculty member when I started, and of course that I remember distinctly thinking just getting through the semester was my goal, because teaching, and that was just really new to me. About a year ago I started thinking about, I think I would like to become a provost at some point. Started really thinking about my role as an administrator and my leadership style, and felt like that might be a good fit at some point. Didn't realize that it would be within a year that I'd be named the provost here at Fort Hays State. But no, it hasn't really been a career aspiration for my entire career, but certainly over the last year.
Since you have been at Fort Hays, you've been one of the most honored and respected faculty members on the campus. You won the Pilot Award in 2012, and then you won the Navigator Award in 2005 as an outstanding student advisor. Talk a little bit about how that made you feel.
Oh, well, you're kind to say that I'm honored. I mean, I'm honored that you feel like I'm kind of revered on campus. There are lots of faculty and advisors that do such a fantastic job at Fort Hays State University. I was just fortunate to be one of those that was recognized formally through these two awards. I won the Navigator Award pretty early in my career here at Fort Hays, and that was a really special one because it was nominated by students and selected by students, and so that advisee relationship has been and will continue to be really important to me, and I hope that will permeate across the entire campus. The Pilot Award was also very special to me. I love teaching, working with students, and so to be recognized by my peers and by students in that regard was special. But we have a lot of special faculty members here at Fort Hays, and like I said, I just happened to be one that was recognized with these two awards.
How have your personal beliefs about growing the Leadership Studies department and students involved in it throughout the years have helped you shape who you are today?
Yeah, so the concept of leadership really is about forward movement and change, and doing that collectively or together or collaboratively. And so I feel like I really try to practice what I teach by modeling that with students, with other faculty, with other colleagues across campus and throughout the community and throughout the world. And so the beauty of what I've been teaching for 17 years is that it translates to so many things, including this role as provost. And so I look forward to using those leadership skills and abilities that I taught in the classroom and use those in my role as provost.
You have ties to Hill City in western Kansas. How have those ideals you learned growing up helped you to get to where you are today?
So Hill City is a relatively small community. It is a small community, and so we were very involved in activities, and so I think through that involvement I learned a work ethic, a hard work ethic. I also learned to persevere and persist when there might be obstacles coming my way. And so I feel like that those are really important lessons that I've been able to connect not only to my career but to my life and our community as well. You know, one other thing that I think is really unique about a small community is those relationships that are developed. And so relationships are important to me. They've been my entire life. And so being collaborative and working with other people has really been part of that small town community life that I enjoyed growing up, but now I can translate that to my work here at Fort Hays.
Do you think your Western Kansas roots helped push you pursue a career in agriculture-related field?
Probably so. I mean, I was very involved in 4-H and FFA throughout my high school and some of my undergraduate experience. And so I think those roots kind of tie back to that hard work and perseverance, and they've helped me understand this area and respect the area and respect what has built this place, and a great foundation for me to continue to be collaborative in moving it forward.
And you eventually graduated with a master's in agricultural education and leadership from Texas A&M. Was it leadership classes at A&M that sparked your interest in this route?
Absolutely. So I got my minor in leadership studies through my undergraduate degree at K-State University, and that was where I started to really see that you could both teach and learn leadership in a classroom. I'd been learning leadership lessons probably since I was very young, like all of us do, but that was my first formal education experience. And then my master's degree, I had a couple of really amazing advisors, mentors, instructors that I just thought, wow, I want to do that someday. And I want to teach leadership to students because they had such an impact on me. And I think that's really what showed me and helped me understand what I wanted to do with my career.
One of your passions is developing youth leadership. Talk about why that's so important to you.
Well, I think leadership can be developed at any age, and I think the sooner that people are exposed to leadership capacities, skills, and behaviors, the better they are going to be at practicing it. And so my research, a lot of my research, especially in my master's degree, was around youth leadership, and my first career was in youth leadership. And so I feel like that's a really important place to start teaching those life skills and those soft skills that are often called leadership.
As you look back on your time at, leadership studies department, what's one success story that just really sticks in your mind?
Oh gosh, there are lots of success stories. I'm not the only one that is involved in those, but something I'm probably most proud of, and I would call it maybe one of our biggest successes, doesn't have to do with numbers, it doesn't have to do with demographics, it has to do with the culture that we built collectively as a department. So our faculty are spread out all over the world. We have faculty here on campus, we've got faculty in China, and we have faculty living across the country teaching in our online program. And so we worked hard, and I led that effort, to try to build a really cohesive department where we had all of our faculty at our department meetings and involved our faculty in decisions. And I'm proud of that, and I hope that that's something that I can continue to carry through my work as Provost Vice President for Academic Affairs.
And that's so awesome. As the newly appointed provost, there will be a few different challenges, but you have to believe your history and knowledge of FHSU will help you get through those.
I hope so, yes. I know that no role comes without challenges, and I know that the challenges will be different in this role than maybe previous roles that I've held, but there's some constant things that I think I'll still utilize. I'm not afraid to ask questions. I want to listen to people, I want to learn from people. I know that there'll be difficult decisions that have to be made, but I'm hoping that I can be informed before making those decisions and can help people understand maybe those difficult decisions and why they were made, so that people at least feel communicated with and understand some of those difficulties that we might just face collectively as a university.
Right. And many universities in the state are losing students each year for a number of reasons. But FHSU has seen a steady growth for nearly 2 decades now. What are some plans you have to help keep Fort Hays growing?
Well, we have to be innovative, and we have to continue to be innovative to not only recruit students, but think about what programs are going to help prepare students to be good employees, but also good citizens in their communities, wherever that is. And so that's a really important message that I'm going to be sharing across campus throughout my time as provost is we need to be innovative, but we also need to think about what are the needs that our communities and our neighborhoods and our employers need. There is a group right now, there's a strategic plan being written and implemented at Fort Hays State, and many of those goals connect to not only recruiting students, but also developing programs that will be that will help move us forward. And so I'll be right there in the thick of that, hoping collectively that we can come up with those ideas to move us forward and keep growing some of those areas that we know we can grow in.
Right. FHSU is one of the most affordable four-year schools in the country. How important is it to keep tuition affordable?
It's extremely important. That was one of the things that came up in my interview, and I think that is one of the important selling points, for lack of a better word, that we have for Fort Hays State. Not only are we affordable, but we're excellent quality as well. And so I think those two messages could easily get lost on one another, but we have quality education, quality programs, quality faculty, quality students, coupled with our affordability. It doesn't get much better than that. And so I hope we can continue that message, but also that foundation that affordability really gives us a cutting edge for students.
Yes, definitely. And our university is unique in that it sees a lot of first-generation college students. How important is it to keep targeting those people, not only for the university's growth, but also for the growth of the state as well?
It's essential. I mean, your question basically answers the question. It's essential. And I think once those students come to Fort Hays, whether that be in our online program or on campus programs, or if they go into a study abroad program or something, we need to be mindful that once we have them in our programs, we need to keep them in our programs, and so think about retention efforts so that they can persist through to graduation and be successful citizens in their communities.
How does your leadership style work well with President Tisa Mason?
I think we have a similar leadership style. So I'm on day 7 of the job, and so we're still navigating. I'm still navigating so many new things about my role, but we have a mutual respect for one another. She has a very collaborative leadership style, as do I. We trust one another, and I think those key elements will help us propel, along with the rest of the team at Fort Hays, help us propel us forward.
Let's fast forward to 5 or 10 years of you holding the provost role. What does success look like to you?
Well, I think I could get into numbers, I could get into growth, but really for me, if I can look back and say that every student, faculty member, and staff felt connected to Fort Hays during my time at Fort Hays, I would consider that a success. Now, that's kind of an idealistic success because that's maybe near impossible, but I would be really satisfied if all faculty, all students, and all staff felt connected to this place of Fort Hays State University.
And one last question to wrap everything up. How excited are you to take on this new role?
Oh, I'm thrilled. I'm also, a little anxious, as can be expected, but I'm absolutely thrilled. I'm thankful that the university and the university community has confidence in me to take on this role. And I really look forward to learning about Fort Hays from a different vantage point. Yes, I've been at Fort Hays for 17 years, but I've not been in this role for that long at all. And so this vantage point will allow me to get to know different aspects of the institution that I'm not as familiar with, and work with people across the institution that I maybe wasn't as much in my role in leadership studies. So I am so excited to learn the role and fulfill the role and do the best job that I can to help move us forward.
Well, thank you for joining me today. We wish you nothing but success in this new role.
Thank you so much.
And thank you, viewers, for viewing Tiger Media Network today. To learn more about TMN, visit tigermedianet.com.